Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm the president of this middle school, and my name is Park Kyung-ho. And nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Okay. And I have your resume and cover letter, which are very impressive. And can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Lee Na-young. I'm 23 years old. I was born in Daejeon, and I have lived around Gyeonggi province since I was born. I graduated from Maesong Middle School, Seohyun High School, and will be graduated from Korea University next coming spring. I'm living with my parents currently, and I have planned to have my own apartment as soon as I have my own job. My major is English language education, and I have studied English language education over 4 years. Once I went to Canada for about 4 months and got a certificate in TEFL there. And I also worked as a teacher's assistant for a certain period of time. About my character, many of my friends say I am creative and persistent. In a good way, I guess.
Okay. And can you tell me about your Canada trip to Canada?
I've been to Calgary and the central part of Canada, and mostly I was traveling around Canada, like Quebec City to Montreal, something like that. Oh yeah.
So what did you learn from?
Yes, mostly I've learned that before I went to Canada, I felt like if my English is not perfect, I should be silent because they might not understand what I was talking about. But at there, I realized that they try to understand what I was talking about, and usually they could understand what I was talking about. And even though some of the workers there can't speak proper English like Americans or Canadians, they have a job there, like phoning to others. So I felt like just speaking perfect English is not needed. Just communicate each other easily and effectively is the most important thing.
And for non-native speakers, English teacher and learning English and teaching English is even difficult. You know. So, what do you think? Do you have any merit as a non-native teacher?
Oh yes, I think I have several merits as a non-native speaker. First, I've studied English over 10 years if I include educations I've got in middle school and high school. So I have tips to my future students because they will be native speakers of Korean instead of native speakers of English. So I have some tips that a native speaker of English never gonna give the students. Because some kind of problems we have in studying English, the native speakers just can't understand. For example, if I can't understand some kind of simple dialogue, the native speaker of English will say that why you can't understand this simple dialogue. They don't know why, but I know the why. Secondly, I'm a native speaker of Korean, and most of my future students will be native speakers of Korean. So I think many of them make mistakes based on their mother tongue, which is Korean. It's easier for me to understand what they are talking about since my first language is Korean. But native speakers of English have hard time in understanding what the students are talking about. They have no clue what they are trying to say. I have no problem in understanding them and correct them. And lastly, we can communicate in Korean if it's necessary. Like the students' English proficiency is so low that they can't understand what I was trying to say, then I can make them understand because I can use Korean. So it can enhance their Korean standing.
So And what do you think the education really is? And some people say that just teaching of knowledge is the most part of the education. And do you agree with this idea?
Yes, teaching knowledge could be a part of education, but I believe that education should be more than that. And I think education should be a succession of activities to give students opportunity to think about who they really are, what they really want to do, and where they want to go in the future. So I believe that a teacher should be a person who can give students a chance to explore themselves. And I believe that that is the core of education.
Then what do you think is the most important part of teaching as a teacher?
You mean in teaching or as a teacher? In teaching?
Both of them, in teaching or as a teacher.
As I said, that a teaching should be giving a student a settled lifelong goal. And as a teacher, he or she should be a good manager of a class. Because if he can't manage the class, then it goes like it will be messed up. Students will be so noisy, they're fooling around during the class. So I believe that a teacher should have a good management skill to manage the class to flow naturally and to be interesting all the time. And when I say management, I'm not saying that just keep the students silent all the time. But instead of keeping the students silent, a good management skill can involve students whatever we are on. So I think a teacher should have those kind of skills.
As a teacher myself, I think the reality is very different from just the theory or your thinking. So do you have any experience as a teacher, as a tutor?
Yeah. I'm tutoring many students, and I just finished my teacher's practicum this spring.
So what was the most difficult part?
About the teacher's practicum, the most difficult part was the different levels of students in one class. And for tutoring, the most difficult part was making the students to concentrate like for 1 hour or 2 hours sometimes.
Okay. And I want to know about you more. And you said that you are a very creative person. And can you compare yourself with other animals or other things?
Yes, a cat. Because she's interested in everything around her. And sometimes she looks like kind of willful, but at the same time she has so much perseverance when it's needed, such as hunting. When it comes to hunting, she can wait for a long time without even making a sound. I have such qualities in myself, so I believe that a cat could be compared to me.
It's very interesting. And do you have any interesting films or books recently you read?
Last weekend I started to read Da Vinci Code, and it was kind of interesting book. And I've learned so much things in that book.
And reading, you must like reading books a lot.
Oh yes, it's my hobby.
Okay. And where do you see yourself in 10 years? Can you describe your future plan?
In 10 years. Have been a teacher for 10 years. At that time, I could be an expert in teaching out of 10 years of experience. And I'll be a mother of a child and a loving wife for my dear husband. And I have been writing several books about studying English and some kind of practical materials you can use in real life classroom situations.
Okay. That's all for today. It was very nice meeting you. And I hope we can work together. Okay. Bye.